Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to show you volley drills that you can do on the ball machine, and we're going to get real creative. And before we get creative, I want to tell you that if you're working on your volley technique, the ball machine can be a great tool. Why? Because it's very difficult for some players at the recreational level to get a rally going when one player is at the net and one player at the baseline. With the ball machine, you don't have to worry about that. Volleying on the wall is a great way to strengthen your forearm and your hand muscles. But one unfortunate thing about the wall is that it's going to be hard to work on field shots, angle shots, and you're basically just hitting straight forward, which is great, don't get me wrong. But volleying on the ball machine gives you a more well-rounded way to practice your volleys. Now, for some of you guys that have been a fan of intuitive tennis for a while, you notice that I have a new ball machine. So if you're interested in finding out more about it, stay tuned until the end of the video. So the first drill that I'm doing is just working on my volley technique from a stationary position, and the objective is to keep my hand and my forearm as stable as possible, and I'm trying to get my volley as deep as possible. I'm doing forehands first, and I want to get a consistency going where I'm not making any mistakes. As far as the ball machine, I got the frequency set way high so I can keep my feet moving and keep the intensity going when I'm at the net. While the backhand volley is biomechanically the more simple shot, most players have more trouble on that side because of a weakness in the wrist and the forearm. So training the wrist and the forearm is crucial, and hitting against the ball machine is a great way to improve your backhand volley. Now, when it comes to my backhand volley, I still, after all these years, have a little bit of a problem where my hand slightly drops. So what I'm trying to do here is keep my offhand on the racket as long as possible. And I'm trying to keep my racket head up and get a little bit stronger, a little bit more stable on my backhand volley. All right, the next thing that we're going to practice are field shots or finesse shots at the net, drop shots, angle shots. And for this, we're going to actually turn the frequency down a little bit so we have a little bit more time for the ball to react to our shot. In other words, when we hit a drop shot, possibly with backspin, we want to see how the ball reacts, and we don't want the ball to shoot out too quickly. I'm going to start with my backhand, and I'm looking for that cross-court angle. I'm going to put a lot of underspin on my volley and try to get as much angle as possible. My goal is to have the second bounce to be outside the doubles Elliott. Now, of course, the more to the side you are with your volley, the easier the angle becomes. So it's actually more challenging to create angles when you're in the middle of the court. So that was a pretty good one there. Let me try inside out. Okay, that was not bad. I got to try to get a little bit more side spin on that thing. And that was a good one with the help of the net. Now, I'm going to do the same thing on the forehand. I'm going to go inside out first. Okay, very nice. And now I'm going to go cross court. I've always had a better cross-court forehand volley and a cross-court backhand volley. This was one of my favorite shots back in the day when I was fast enough to make it to the net. It was this right here, a little angle cross-court forehand volley. It's a real fun shot. You have to set the angle of the racket face properly where it's a little bit more towards the court, and just absorb and let the ball play off your racket. When you do a lot of reps on this shot in practice and you come to the match court and you got the entire court open here, you do one of these, you're gonna get a lot of free points. All right, now volley drop shots. These are going to be tough. I'm going to try to get the ball as close to the net as I possibly can. I'm going to watch how that ball reacts. That one was pretty good. Let me try again. That was very soft hands right there. I've always had more feel on my backhand side regarding drop shots compared to my forehand. Let me try one more backhand. Okay, that's pretty good. And let me try forehand now. The issue is that the forehand just generally feels more stiff regarding drop shots. This is somewhat true for the baseline as well, but if you practice a lot of feel on your forehand side, a lot of drop shots, you will get better at them. So that's where, again, the perfect place to do this would be on a ball machine where you can hit one volley drop shot after another. Okay, not bad. I can do a little bit better. I really got to absorb that ball in my strings. I can do a little better than that. I'm gonna try it again. Absorb, Nick. I can do better than that. Come on, Nick, get it close to the net. I can even do better. I'm trying to get it just a hair from the net. There it is, yes, beautiful. Okay, now what I'm trying to find is that high floater. Now, this is a little bit too high. It's more of an overhead, so I'm gonna put the height down a little bit. And that is perfect. That's a floating volley that a lot of players, especially at the rec level, mess up, and that's what I'm going to practice next. So the swing path on a high volley is completely different from a regular volley because we're swinging high to low. Now we still have to make sure that the movement is more circular, that the hand is dragged towards the core of the body, and that the L shape is maintained through the entirety of the swing. When it comes to my game, I have had trouble with these at times, but more in transition, and that's what we're going to work next. Regarding the high backhand volley, it's the same as the forehand volley. The swing path is going to be more high to low, but you still want to keep the stroke very compact. Make sure that you're deflecting the ball, that there's not a lot of additional movement with the hand at contact, and that the movement indeed is more circular, where the hand goes across the body rather than through. So now what you can do is go behind the service line and start closing. And now after you hit the ball, you come back behind the service line and you close. And now you're working on that transitional floater ball that is so difficult for a lot of you recreational players. And the key is to get as close to the net as possible. I gotta close a little more aggressive. That was good. And of course, this is a great workout cardio wise. I'm gonna do 2 more. Come on, Nick, close aggressively. Yes, and 1 more. Come. Whoa. Yes. Now we're going to do the same thing on the backhand volley. I'm going to go behind the service line, close aggressively, make sure the technique is clean, and back up again, and come. Ah, that was a good one with a crossover step. Oh, nice one. I'm going to try to find some angle on this one. Oh, good one, Nick. This one, and last one, match point. I'm going to close like crazy on this one. Oh, come on. Guys, now we're going to be working on lateral movement. And not only that, but we're also going to close while we're moving laterally. This is for all you double specialists out there, similar to poaching. But even in singles, of course, you're going to have to do lateral volleys. So what you have to do is put the cone a little bit deeper and right in the middle of the tee, so that you can actually give yourself a little bit of room to close forward. And this is going to be great cardio as well, guys. I like this a lot. I get around the cone and close. Come on, Nick. Oh, yes. Do 1 more. Come on, get in there. Yeah, come on. Okay, guys, now we're going to do the forehand. Of course, you have to make sure that the ball machine is accurately positioned. This does require a little bit of testing prior. But again, my goal is to try to close and go laterally across and be very aggressive. Also, I got to keep my feet moving quickly so that the ball doesn't drop too low on me. Let me do 2 more. Yes, and match point, Nick. Come on, be aggressive on this one. Oh, there we go, come on. Guys, now we're going to be working on half volleys, one of the least practiced shots in tennis, and you have to find the right delivery from the ball machine. That's about right. So you want the ball to be super low over the net and bouncing just inside the service line. So guys, after being on YouTube for 5 years, you would think that I have every shot covered. I never covered the half volley. So soon I'm going to release a full-length video on how to hit a half volley, full in-depth technical tutorial. But in any case, it's an important shot to practice, especially if you're a doubles player. But even if you like to come in singles, you're going to get some half volleys. And these are tricky shots that have to be handled the right way. I'm going to do some forehands as well. Just like the volley, firm hand and a solid contact is crucial. Without that, you're going to have a hard time. So there, I let the ball get behind me a little too much. There too. Okay, that was good. Try again. Firm contact is key. Now, I'm going to do 1 more, and now I'm actually going to back up a little bit and try to come in on and get some transitional movements going. Good. And again, I'm going to swap from forehand to backhand. So often when you're doing half volleys, if there's some forward movement, it makes the actual stroke more compact and you don't have to do as much. And especially in transition, you want to be getting to the net as close as possible. So you need to practice coming in a little bit on your half volley. You can do that even on the ball machine. Okay guys, another shot that's not often considered, that's the swing volley. You can perfectly practice this shot with the ball machine. Make sure that you're taking the swing volley from the service line or maybe even slightly behind it, and the ball needs to be high, but not too high. You don't want this to be fed like an overhead. And now you can practice both the forehand and the backhand swing volley. A lot of players ignore this shot, and it is a shot that comes in handy from time to time. Now I gotta make sure that I change my swing path a little bit and then bring that ball down. Let me try one more. There we go, that's better. And now another shot that's often ignored, that's the overhead. And you can beautifully practice the overhead with the Nisplay ball machine because the adjustments on this machine are very, very good. I've never seen a machine feed lobs as cleanly as the Nisplay does. So again, overheads are often ignored. You can get a lot of them in on the ball machine. Let me hit one hard. Okay, let me go a little harder. There it is. Let me try one more. Last one. Yes, that felt good. Now, how about the least practice shots in tennis? The backhand overhead. This happens to be my worst shot, and I'm gonna practice it. I'm gonna show you guys. Here we go. Ah, nice. And again, I got turn. And this is one of the only shots in tennis, guys, where there is a little bit of wrist play involved. But I am weak on this side. I don't have a lot of strength. I've played guys that have so much pop on the backhand overhead. I'm so jealous. I played one guy, this is back in the Bundesliga days, that hit the backhand overhead so hard that the ball ended up bouncing over the fence. This I've never seen before, but my backhand overhead, just like many players who have a two-handed backhand, is a little bit weaker, so practicing it on the ball machine makes a lot of sense. And guys, we're not done yet because I'm gonna show you how to serve and volley on the ball machine. And this is a little bit complicated, but you need to set the frequency on the Nisplay to 3, okay? And now, what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the remote on the ground, and you're already gonna have a ball in your hand and ready to serve. And you're gonna have to prepare yourself because you're gonna have to play with a lot of intensity. And now, you're gonna push, start, and you're gonna serve and come to the net. Now, when you go back, you push the pause button again to settle yourself. There will be some balls shooting your way, no doubt about it. So now, you're gonna get another ball, you're gonna catch your breath, and you're gonna prepare to be super explosive. Again, you're gonna push that play button and serve right away. Again, you gotta run back, hit that pause button, and I'm actually going to serve towards the ad side. And it's the same process. I'm gonna place the remote right next to me. I got the frequency calibrated perfectly. It is working well. I'm gonna push play, serve, and come in. Go. Ah, there you go, Saber's overhead.